Hi there, everyone. Welcome. My name is Tina Heisman. I am a certified master life coach, and I specialize in marriage. I'm so glad that you've joined me today. I'm excited about our talk. The topic for our call today is how to increase the intimacy in your marriage. But before we get started, I want to let you know that I have a free private Happy Wife community on Facebook where you can come to get inspiration for your marriage in a safe place. And I really want to emphasize that it's positive. I've seen some marriage support groups out there, and I just see a lot of negativity, and that's not what my group is about. So I want to let you know that. The location for it is facebook.com/groups/the Happy Wives community. And of course, you can head on over to my website at tinaheisman.com. If you forget that address, I have a banner at the bottom of my homepage. So head on over there for that. And without further ado, let's talk about today's topic. I've led you on long enough. How to increase the intimacy in your marriage. And I told you that I was going to share a secret with you today that a lot of wives don't know. This is something that is not well known by most wives. And I think when we're good at this, maybe in the courting part of our relationship, and then later on we back away from it. And the secret is, are you ready? The secret is that men feel more intimacy toward their wives when they do things shoulder to shoulder instead of face to face. So put another way, men feel bonding happening when they're sharing an activity with their wife, like friends would do. And we know friendship is very important in marriage. So let's think about this for a minute, because it's really a big difference between men and women. What do you do when you want to meet up and spend time with a girlfriend of yours? Usually you probably are doing something where you're sitting across from each other and talking, right? Like going out for coffee or lunch or something like that. So that's how women prefer to be in relation. It feels good to us. We like to be making eye contact with our friend and having our conversation. But let's think about what men do when they get together. Not really so many men go out for coffee. They do an activity usually. Like when guys are bonding, they're watching sports, they're going to a ball game, they're fishing or golfing or skiing or hiking, and they're doing something side by side, an activity. And research, a lot of marriage research has proven over the years that men need a recreational partner in their wife. They prefer to do these activities shoulder to shoulder. You know, it might feel like a strange quirk, but the truth is this is how God made men. And so if we want to have intimacy in our marriage, then we need to work on meeting our husband where he's at. The good news is that this is an easy way for you to increase intimacy in your marriage. All you need to do is spend some time with your husband in shoulder-to-shoulder activities. So think about some of those things that your husband likes to do. Now, this is important, things that your husband likes to do. If you're trying to meet him where he's at and speak to love to him and build intimacy in your marriage, you need to do things that he likes to do. What does he like to do? Does he like to go to ball games? Does he like to go to concert? Does he like to hike or canoe outside? Does he like to just watch football games on TV and have you sitting next to him? You know, maybe it's even helping him with a household project. Some men just love it when their wife will just kind of sit nearby and admire them as they're working on a project. For real. So I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about when I learned this for the first time was when my husband and I were repairing our marriage from our crisis. And this is a skill that I used a lot to help rebuild our marriage. And I did things that I wouldn't choose to do. Like if you say on a Sunday, Tina, what would you like to do today? These are not things that I would come up with, but they were things that my husband wanted to do. And so I did them. You know, I went fishing with him I went camping with him. I went jet skiing with him, went to the gun range with him, watched football with him on TV, and all of those things, you know, I made the best of them while I was doing them and just knew, even though they were maybe scary to me or not in my first line of what I would choose to do with my time, I knew that I needed to do them for the sake of my marriage. And because even though I want to sit face to face and talk to my husband and be reassured of his love for me and bond that way, that's not how he wants to be in the relationship. He wants to be side by side. Now, here's the secret, girls. He's going to give you that face-to-face communication. He's probably going to open up to you when you're doing the side-by-side communication, but that face-to-face for men is too intense. And so we want to meet them where they're at and do something side-by-side. You might be surprised about the things that he'll start talking about if you'll give him the chance. So these are things that we want to do to create more intimacy. I was thinking the other day about another example. Something we've done really recently was gone to get a couples massage. And I can tell that when we do that, he feels really connected afterward. You know, he loves it. I don't necessarily feel like more connected to him after that because we're not looking at each other. We're not really you're not talking, right? It's quiet when you're getting massages. We just happen to be in the same room. So, but you know, that's the difference in our communication and our connection style. And here's the thing is that for me, you know, I'm wise enough now to know that if I will engage in these shoulder-to-shoulder activities with him, that it will energize him and allow him to be more able to talk to me when I need it. And this will work for you too. So I want to mention a little tip here about this while we're on this topic. Speaking of talking, right, we all know that women talk more than men. You know, there's even jokes out there that men only have a limited number of words a day, right? So this might sound odd, but if you're really trying to build some intimacy with your husband, try not to do a lot of talking during your shoulder-to-shoulder activities. And I know that's odd. I know because the way we connect with men or with anyone, is by talking. That's not how they do it. Remember, men are short on words where we are long on words. So in this exercise, try to refrain from talking too much. You're going to be shocked. He's probably going to say at the end, like, how much fun he had or something, and you're going to be like, wow, really? You know, I didn't even say anything. You don't need to. He doesn't want you to. Most men. So this is, you know, statistically with most men. You might have one that's different, but so what we want to do is try to respect our husband's need to just be with us shoulder to shoulder without heavy conversation sometimes. You will see it will energize him. He will love it. And like I said earlier, it might actually open him up for a conversation, but let him be the guide on that, you know, just kind of honor him and respect him and see what happens with it. Do it as an experiment, you know. I think I'd like to give you that homework assignment to, in the next week or two, ask your husband what might he like to do, some activity or event, or maybe suggest something that you know he would love that you do together, and just go and do it without any expectations. Go and do it. Don't talk too much. Let him be the leader and the guide and see how that goes. And report back to me on how that goes. I would love to hear from you. And so I know you're busy, and I know this will take time. And I know that you have a lot of dishes to do and laundry and the kids, and there's like a lot of logistics and stuff. But really, if we can step back and see this as an investment in our marriage, then it's something that we can see that's worthwhile. Because anything that's an investment in our marriage is worthwhile, because this marriage is far more important than anything else that you have to do. And if we let our marriages fall apart, then, you know, we create a very big lack of stability for our families and ourselves. And so look at it that way, as an investment. And I'm betting, like I said earlier in the call, you were probably doing this before your children were born and the busyness of family set in. I'm willing to bet you did things with him that you didn't like just to do it and, you know, be supportive and win his heart even maybe. And so this is a time to relook at that maybe. You've been married for a while. You've gotten kind of lazy about it maybe, or think it's not important, you know, those times, if he's watching a football game on a Sunday afternoon and he calls for you to come sit next to him and watch the game, go sit next to him and watch the game, you know. And I know it's going to be hard because you're going to be thinking about everything you have to do. But remember, this is an investment in your marriage. And this is a really important tip for communicating with your husband, and you know, even in general. Men find that face-to-face communication that we so much seek, they find it too intense, especially if you're bringing a problem to him. They'll actually respond better if you will talk about it while doing something side by side. I often suggest to my clients that they go for a walk with their husband if they've got something maybe that they want to share that might be hard or intense. That way he's not having to look in your eyes and feel your disappointment or your hurt. That's really hard on him. But he'll still hear you if you're walking side by side, and he'll be able to better respond. I've had one client recently told me about this actually, about how it went when she tried this technique. And she said that her husband was just so much more open to hearing her complaint, and that they easily worked it out while they were walking. It was like no big deal. And neither of them got angry or upset. And she was like, wow, this is huge progress from any previous discussions we've had. You know, she had no idea the impact of that face-to-face communication on her husband, that it's so hard on him. But when she could bring it up when they were walking the dogs side by side, he had a much easier time hearing her and responding to her. And as a result, they had a great conversation. And now, you know, she's said she's definitely going to use that in the future when she has something hard to bring up with him. And so I'd like to leave that there for you too. You know, give that a try and see how it goes. And let me know how that goes. If you're having like a disagreement with your husband, try talking about it when you're taking a walk. And also try scheduling something in the next week or two that is a one-on-one with you and your husband, and see how that goes. All right, guys, this call was short and sweet. Just remember, it's so important for your husband to have a recreational partner, and it will greatly improve the intimacy in your marriage. And I would love to field your questions, so I'm going to unmute the call and stop recording it, and we can talk about those. In the meantime, if you need anything, you can email me at tina@heisman.net. Also, I have a free mini marriage makeover on my website that will help you fix any challenges that you might have in your marriage. And you can visit my website at tinaheisman.com. And finally, don't forget to join the Happy Wives community on Facebook. And let me know. I offer one-on-one coaching for clients, for women only, and I'm just so passionate about helping you improve your marriages and creating much more peace and joy and positivity in it. So that's all for the recording, and we're going to talk about questions next. Okay? Thank you so much.